new week, and we are here. Hope everybody enjoyed their Father's Day weekend. Happy Juneteenth to everyone. This is the hottest show on the streets, number one forum for your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, bringing the show live from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming this to you on YouTube. Speaking of the channel, you know what to do. Smash that subscribe button right now. Hit that like button right now for you to miss nothing on your Crimson Tide. Hit that notification bell, turn all those notifications on so that way you get all of your insight, all of your information on your favorite program. We also got you covered here on Facebook and Twitter as well, streaming to you the show. Got a lot to get to, a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. We want you to be a part of the conversation. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you. The daily super chat goes $75. Appreciate the support from you, the fans. But right now, John, we're going to get this thing popping because we got an outstanding guest right now. We got a heavy hitter, the brother from Georgia, in here right now. So with all due respect to the homie, Jordan Battle, Divine 9, South Florida, with all due respect to my brother, DeMarco Helms, Washington, D.C. native, but we got the hardest hitter on the Alabama team on the show right now. Give it up for Brian. Lay him in the dirt. Branch is on the show. BB, what's going on with you, man?
Nothing much. Chilling.
We got Brian Branch here on the show, Alabama junior defensive back. Join us live here virtually. And Brian, first and foremost, you have a partnership with the Players Lounge with one former Georgia quarterback, Aaron Murray, and kind of just talk about how that came to be, how that happened, and, give the fans a little insight on the Players Lounge right now.
Aaron hit me up a couple months back about this little NFT deal, NIL deal, and it's basically like selling our NFTs, but the Player Lounge itself is where it gathers 6 other schools, and it gives a chance for fans to collaborate with us and other teams across the nation, and so it's just big.
I mean, for you though, how cool is that though, just for you to have this chance to interact even more with fans? I know that they see you do your thing on the field on Saturdays in the fall, but just them having another outlet to reach you, contact you, interact with you, and have fun with you. How cool is that to engage more with Alabama fans and college football fans in this way?
It's very cool. You can start building relationships with fans. See what fans really think of you in a way, and just building relationships with fans. That's all it's about, and that's what it's very cool to me.
We got Brian Branch here on the show. If you're just checking us out on a Monday, Alabama junior defensive back on with us via In My Own Words. And so, Brian, late in the season last year, you took your game to a whole different level. I'm just going to call it what it is. You were laying brothers out there on the field, especially those last 5 to 6 games there for the Crimson Tide. Just for people that have never seen you play, how would you describe your game for people that have never seen you play?
Play fast, physical, and just get to the ball, really. Just do my job and make plays. That's what I try to do. And every game I go in, trying to do those things. I always do my job, what I can do to help the team, and I'm just blessed.
Going hard every single play, Brian Branch right here. So was there a player that you patterned your game after, or you tried to compare your game to growing up?
Oh, yes, sir, of course. My 2 favorite players are really Troy Polamalu and Tyrann Mathieu.
Troy Polamalu and Tyrann. You can't beat those two. You really cannot beat those two. Really good choices right there.
Oh, thank you.
Really outstanding choices right there. We're right here with Brian Branch on the show. So, Brian, as you go back and you look at last season, there were some challenging games, some close games, but the defense learned a lot about itself in those matchups. But with a new season comes a different expectation. What's the expectation for this defense for Alabama, especially with a lot of veterans such as yourself back on this unit?
The expectations out the roof. Everybody, the whole defense has chemistry. We know where each and every last one of us is going to be on the field, and it's crazy. And we expect big things this year. We do. More, I think, honestly, we have a chance if we play our cards right, we have a chance to be the best defense to ever come through Bama, I think.
Expectation being the best defense to come through this program, especially under one Nick Saban. So, Brian, when you look at just personal goals for yourself, I know Coach Saban has everybody focused on the team goal, which is, of course, winning a national championship. But for you, do you have anything written down or some things written down personally that you want to see yourself achieve in the coming fall?
Oh, yes, sir. It's about time. I'm aiming for that Jim Thorpe and really, yeah, Jim Thorpe.
Hey,
personal role.
Right, that Jim. You heard him right here, folks. Jim Thorpe. Brian, he ain't pulling punches. He's talking Jim Thorpe. He coming after that Jim Thorpe Award in the fall. And I guess for you, being able to be coached by Nick Saban and play under Coach Saban, since you got on campus in 2020, has there been that one piece of advice that Saban has given you that has just stuck with you? I know he has a lot of sayings, he has a lot of phrases, probably a host of one-liners, but has there been that one piece of advice coming from him that's just stuck with you?
Yes, sir. He said my freshman year, he told me, good DBs get beat, and great DBs barely get beat. I think that's how he said it. Something like that.
Coach Saban always one trying to encourage everybody on the field, but especially that defensive back position. We got Brian Branch here, junior defensive back for your Crimson Tide, joined us here on In My Own Words. And so, Brian, just for the guys that maybe people don't talk about a lot on this defense, anybody this season that we should be on the lookout for that does not get a whole lot of conversation?
I think Kyrie Jackson, Chris Braswell, who else? Jalen Moody. Trying to think. Byron Young.
All right, we got those names written down. We got Moody, we got Young, we got Kyrie Jackson. We got these names, Chris Braswell. We got these names written down. Looking forward to watching them do their thing in the coming season. We got Brian Branch, 2020 national champion, but also junior defensive back for your Crimson Tide, graciously joined us here on a Monday to talk about his partnership with the Players Club with former Georgia quarterback, Aaron Murray, among other things, gearing toward the season. BB, man, we appreciate you coming on here, spending some time with us. You have an outstanding summer. Continue to train hard. Don't work yourself too hard, but have a big-time junior year, my man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Brian Branch, the hardest hitter on this Alabama defense, secondary, that being for the upcoming season. Once again, no offense to Jordan Battle, no offense to DeMarco Helms, but I got to show the love there to Brian Branch where that category is concerned. We take our first break here on the show, folks. We'll touch that down when we get back. We go to the phone lines to grab your calls, your thoughts, your chats, your interactions on a Monday right after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we're back into the action here from the break on a Monday, getting that work week and getting your Juneteenth started off correctly. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Before we get into the phone lines to take your calls, the call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. The number again, 205-448-1358. Appreciate my man Brian Branch, Alabama Junior defensive back, joining us there in that recent segment. We got a new member to the family. We've got Dancing Steven. Newest member here to the In My Own Words family. We got Dancing Steven. Now, this is how Dancing Steven works as he's at the bottom of the screen. He works off Super Chats. So the Super Chats, your donations go in, and Dancing Steven will start getting down at the bottom of the screen. It's just amazing how our design people have this thing looking exactly like him. I mean, khaki pants and all, John. Khaki pants and all. So he is done. He operates through Super Chat. So I got to shout out RD3D. So RD3D, tremendous job of giving us Dancing Steven, who operates off Super Chats. Once again, that daily Super Chat goal, $75. Appreciate the love comment from all of you as you guys continue to get your calls in. 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. But as we get ready to go into a quick little topic here, and that's on one Jalen Hurts, former Alabama quarterback, also former Oklahoma quarterback, who's entering his third season with the Philadelphia Eagles and looking forward to having a big season, especially in the fall. You know, Jalen has always been a business mogul mind. Even at Alabama, he always kind of fancied himself as a businessman. And when he started dominating as a freshman in 2016 under Lane Kiffin as the offensive coordinator, there was a certain phrase or slogan that started. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? The Hurts So Good slogan. It became a hashtag. It became a button that you would wear on your clothes as you were going to these Alabama games. Well, the Hurts So Good phrase has now become a patent for Jalen Hurts. He has filed a patent for it because he is trying to release a clothing line with the phrase, with the slogan. So, kudos to Jalen. We're in a day and age where you have to brand, you have to market yourself in different ways. It's, how can I make my money work for me? How can I make my name work for me? How can I have different avenues, different ways, different ventures, different spots to make funds, different spots to make money? And for Jalen Hurts, yes, he is a pro athlete, absolutely. But here's another way for him to, get that cash rolling out there, having the patent for Hurts so good. So he's had a great offseason, and now with him getting this patent, his offseason is going from good to great where he is concerned. But we take a break here, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we sit down with the most traveling man in the business, our own Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA. Bama had a massive recruiting weekend on last week. We're going to talk to Justin about it because there were quite a few names that popped off at the Bama camp. We'll get into it after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your four-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, folks, we're back into the action from the break here on a Monday. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciate you guys checking us out on the show. Now, on tomorrow, big, huge, game-changing episode of the Bama Standard, 6 p.m. Central Time, streaming right here on TDA's YouTube channel. Now, our own Marvin Constant, all SEC linebacker, Bama legend, still on vacation. But you still got Justin Riley. You still got comedy legend Steve Brown. You still have Bo Scarborough, two-time national champion, member of the Birmingham Stallions. You still have yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. But you also got three huge guests. You've got Trey DePriest, former Alabama linebacker, national champion. You got Ryan Anderson, the Angry Man, national champion and a hard-hitting linebacker of the Saban era. And then you also got Tim Williams, national champion and another hard-hitting linebacker. I told you, big show tomorrow. Trey DePriest, Ryan Anderson, Tim Williams, all will be on tomorrow's show, 6 p.m. Central Time. The Bama Standard, streaming on TDA's YouTube channel. Get there to watch the legends, to have the fun, and to enjoy all parts of the conversation. But right now, we had a huge recruiting weekend. So we go to the In My Own Words hotline. We pick up the most traveling man in the business. I do not think this man has slept for a month. But we got my man Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, right here. Justin, what's going on, man?
Not much, Stephen. I'm just about to walk into Wilkin Formby's announcement. Of course, he's top Alabama target, so yeah, we're going to cover that on his announcement tonight.
Absolutely. We got our own Justin Smith right here on the show covering Alabama football recruiting. So, Justin, starting off right there, you mentioned it right there, one of the top offensive line targets for the Crimson Tide, four-star, the young man from Hillcrest High School in Tuscaloosa of Alabama Highway 69 South. He is making his decision tonight. I think he's down to Alabama and Ole Miss. Can you talk about this young man here on the offensive line? How does he fit Alabama? Do you think that he chooses Alabama? Break this young man down.
Yeah, Wilkin Formby, easily one of the top offensive tackles in the nation. A massive, towering prospect at 6'8". Actually, I think it's Northridge High School, but he is down in Alabama, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. A lot of people feel Ole Miss does have some momentum heading into this decision, but I don't see how Nick Saban and Alabama lets a talent like Will Conformi get out of the state and out of their hometown. A guy who grew up an Alabama fan who has that prototypical size for a tackle, 6'8" and approximately 300 pounds. I was always impressed with his footwork after watching him, watching his film, watching him at the underclassmen camp in Atlanta a couple of months ago. So his footwork always stood out to me in the way that he was able to carry his weight. But the thing I really like about his film after watching it more recently is his impressive ability to pass block. I think he's one of the best pass blocking tackles in this 2023 recruiting class. Alabama will be lucky to pick him up. He will choose between Alabama, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. On tonight, some people feel that Ole Miss has some momentum heading into his decision, but I still feel Alabama's in a great position because I don't see how they let a talent like this leave the state. A 6'8" offensive lineman who basically grew up an Alabama fan, lives right around the corner from the university. So it'll be interesting to see how his decision comes through tonight. We'll definitely have full coverage of it.
Now, before we flip this over to defense here, Justin, sticking with offense for a moment here, I remember briefly before you and I came on, you mentioned how Alabama is trying to get more offensive tackles in this 2023 class here. What do you think the reason for that is?
I think it's of course they're doing it because they feel that they need some more tackles on the roster. Obviously, I think that is a huge reason. That is usually why they will like to pile on one position. But I also think there's a plethora of talent at the tackle position. There's so many great prospects like Caden Proctor, five-star offensive lineman Samson Okunlola, who visited Alabama last weekend. You have Francis Maury Gore, who could be a tackle, could be a guard next level, but he is one of the top tackles in the nation as well. You have Olaf Alanin, who really likes the Crimson Tide. He could be moved all over the offensive line probably, but he's most likely a tackle prospect as well, along with Miles McVay. So the Tide are just in a great position with a lot of tackle prospects, and I think they are going to hit on some of these guys. We have an opportunity to land a pretty impressive offensive line class, and I think Will Conformi can get it started tonight.
You're just checking out the show here on a Monday. We got our own Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, recapping the massive recruiting weekend on last week. So, Justin, now we go to defense, and there's a four-star defensive end, last name Pierre, that just ripped up one-on-ones at the camp. And explosive, quick, fast, dominant, just caught everybody's attention, turned everybody's head, and just talk about young Pierre right here. I know he's the cousin of former Alabama linebacker, national champion Courtney Upshaw. But, what makes Pierre that explosive? Because every clip I watched of him from the camp, he was just taking people to school.
Talking about Deontay Pierre, four-star defensive end, who is verbally committed to Alabama at the moment out of Eufaula High School. And Eufaula, Alabama, yeah, it is not surprising to see him rip up Alabama's camp. Take a look at his junior film. He's very explosive off snap of the football, great hand movements, a wide variety of rush moves, great size, great length for the position. He will continue to have to add on some weight to continue to get stronger, to fill out his frame a little bit more. I think that's the thing he will need to focus on at the next level. It'll be interesting to see how he comes out during his senior season. But, yeah, he's always had been an explosive athlete, an explosive edge rusher. The Crimson Tide's head coach Nick Saban has always told him that he could be a great outside linebacker for them. That is why they are so excited to have him on board so early.
Now, as we look at back to the offensive line here, Justin, there was one guy, five-star. First name is Samson, but he's got an incredible nickname. Pancakes is the young man's nickname, as there was a picture of him on Twitter eating a stack of pancakes. But I remember you had an interview with this young man, and he talked about how, Alabama wants you to be successful in every area, and this is on the field and off the field. But for you, what makes Mr. Sampson here stand out? What makes him exceptional? What makes him fun to watch as a prospect on the offensive line?
Well, Nick Saban actually offered him in May. His recruitment is really interesting. The Tide are in his top 9. They did host him for an official visit, and I got a chance to interview him after the official visit. He did tell me that he got a better feel for the program, got an opportunity to meet Nick Saban, of course, talk with Eric Wolford, who he had a previous relationship with, hang around some Alabama players, including Tyler Booker, who's an Alabama freshman offensive lineman. He will most likely make a decision more so in the season because he wants to take a couple more official visits during the season. He already has taken 2 this summer. He would take another one to Miami this upcoming weekend, but he will most likely make a decision during the season. But when Nick Saban offered him, he told him that he loved his footwork. Another guy with great size for their tackle position at about 6'6", weighing that 300-pound range as well. There's a lot to like about his game. Physical, offensive lineman. The guy was really athletic, quick, plays on both sides of football, actually, for Thayer Academy in Massachusetts. Plays primarily at tackle, but he also plays some defensive line on the defensive side of football. So he's a athletic, physical offensive tackle the Crimson Tide really like. It's really interesting to see the quick rise that they have made in this recruitment. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out as he continues to evaluate things, but they're definitely in the thick of things despite joining his recruitment quite a little bit later in the process.
Last quick one here on our end. We got Justin Smith here on the lines here in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. So, Justin, when you look at just how Alabama is targeting the offensive line position, in particular offensive tackles, what does this speak to the recruiting efforts of Eric Wolford? He's just gotten in here, and he's already starting to attract attention of a lot of these 4- and 5-star guys that can play guard, that can play tackle. I mean, how have these guys been able to vibe with Eric Wolford so far on this recruiting trail?
Many recruits, especially on offensive line position, speak highly of him. Even some guys on defensive line, I've heard them talk about him too. And I think he's great at building relationships. I think he has the potential to be a great recruiter for the Crimson Tide. Every time I talk to a recruit who is getting recruited by Alabama, specifically offensive linemen, they always tell me that they had a previous relationship with Coach Wolford at Kentucky. So he was a great recruiter at Kentucky with the Wildcats. And like I always say, once you put that A on your chest, you become an ace recruiter. If you are able to do recruiting somewhat good, I think Alabama gives you a boost, especially when you go into any school with that Alabama A on your chest or on your hat. So I think he has the potential to be really good for the Tide. So many guys have said they have had previous relationship with him, and he is a great guy. Specifically, the guy who we are going to cover tonight, Wilkin Formby, he has talked about his relationship with Coach Wolford. He's one of the reasons why Formby was actually taking visits to Tuscaloosa, not visits to Tuscaloosa, but visits at campus a couple of times during the spring, totally unplanned. Just basically drove around the corner to get to the university and just hang around the Crimson Tide coaching staff, specifically Eric Wolford and Alabama's offensive line group during spring practice. So he has done a great job at building relationships. I think it's going to pay big dividends for the Crimson Tide as they continue to recruit some of the top offensive linemen in the nation. I think they're going to try to build a solid offensive line class. I think it will definitely beat out their 2022 class. It'll be hard to say we'll rival that talented and loaded 2021 offensive line class, but I think they're looking to land a pretty good group.
He's Justin Smith, ladies and gentlemen, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA. Coming on here to recap the massive recruiting weekend for your Crimson Tide. As always, Justin, we appreciate the lowdown, all the news, notes, and things from your end, my man. You be safe. Get down there to see the young man make that commitment. And as always, appreciate you, my man. We'll look to have you back in here soon.
Same to you, Steven.
Always good to have Justin in here talking about Bama recruiting as the Crimson Tide looking at offensive linemen, offensive tackles, defensive linemen, all players. Coach Saban is looking at all players, even though there may be a couple of positions here or there that Alabama may target more so than others. But we take a break here, folks, on the show and touch that dive. When we get back, we get into the offensive line and why this year's group may be a lot better than what people are giving them credit for. We'll talk about the O-line after this.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, folks, we're back in, rocking and rolling from the break. Number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine on a Monday. And we get into right now, final topic of the conversation, that goes to the offensive line for the Crimson Tide. And, John, when you look at Alabama, so many people discuss, okay, well, they've got the quarterback in Bryce Young. That's a no-brainer. He's an elite quarterback. They've got talent at the running back position. They have wide receivers that are young. They may not be necessarily proven, but there's talent at wide receiver. You got a veteran tight end and Cameron Latu back, and you got some guys that will provide some depth there at that position. Defense, we have an idea of what Alabama is defensively. But when you look at the offensive line, people go, okay, there's the weakness, right? There's the question mark. There's the weak spot. You know, we really don't know how good this offensive line truly is. That is the area of concern. Now, I will say this. I think this offensive line will be better than what most people give it credit for, and here's why. There have been a lot of rumblings, a lot of conversations within summer workouts about how much better this group is and how much better this group will be. In the locker room, there's actually a sign on the doors and different areas where these young men walk into, and the sign is 41 sacks. Never again. 41 sacks that were given up by his offensive line. Never again. And there's already been a lot of positive talk about one Tyler Steen coming in here from Vanderbilt at 6'5", 315, 320 pounds, and that range right there. And, you know, Steen has picked up the offense fast. He's picked it up quickly. Guys have been impressed with his footwork, his strength, his power, his hand strike, his technique, his quickness. They've already been impressed with what Tyler Steen can do. He's expected to be the starting left tackle. That's the expectation when you look at one Tyler Steen. He's coming in, he's put his head down, he's putting the work in, and it continues to put the work in. And then when you look at J.C. Latham, the word is he's expected to be the right tackle, starting right tackle. He's bulked up more. His quickness, his footwork, his technique, his ability, his mental fortitude, all of these things are in order. All of these things are in place, and this is big here. So, for me, when I look at the projected starting offensive line in the coming fall here, I'm looking at Tyler Steen, left tackle, Javion Cohen, left guard, Steele, Seth McLaughlin, center, Emil Ekiyor Jr. at right guard. Even though Damian George, we're going to look in there also, Emil Ekiyor Jr. will start at that right guard position because of his experience. And then at right tackle there, J.C. Latham. And under the leadership here of Eric Wolford, of whom coming over from Kentucky, he took a unit and had it be a finalist for the Joe Moore Award. He took a unit and had Chris Rodriguez Jr., a 1,000-yard back. He took a unit that had, Will Levis being a, pretty good quarterback. And now Will Levis is a dark horse for some people to win the Heisman Trophy in the coming fall. So that just speaks to what Eric Wolford was able to do as an offensive line coach at Kentucky and now at Alabama, he is being expected to have this group bring forth the bounce-back year. And I've said this about Alabama's group at wide receiver and for Bill O'Brien. Both aspects have another year with Bryce Young. This wide receiver group has another year with Bryce Young. This is Trayshawn Holden. This is Christian Leary. This is JoJo Earl. This is Thaiu Jones-Bell. You know, these guys have another year with Bryce Young to, birth out and become prime-time players. Yes, you have freshmen in the mix with Aaron Anderson, Kendrick Law, Shaz Preston, Kobe Prentice, Isaiah Bond. Yes, you have transfers that have entered the fray with Jermaine Burton and Tyler Harrell. But your main guys that were here a season ago, Trayshawn Holden, JoJo Earl, Christian Leary, Thaiu Jones-Bells, the main guys over there a season ago, they got another year here with Bryce Young to birth themselves into being primetime receivers, marquee athletes on the field. And here the same thing goes here with Bill O'Brien. He has another year with Bryce Young being around him, working with him, fine-tuning and understanding even more what works for him, what does not work for him, what play calls suit him, what play calls do not suit him. The same thing comes with this offensive line. When you have a Javion Cohan, another year with Bryce Young. When you have a J.C. Latham, another year with Bryce Young. Seth McLaughlin, another year with Bryce Young. Emil Ekiyor Jr., another year with Bryce Young. So now it shouldn't be 39 sacks to Bryce Young. And now it shouldn't be 41 sacks to a quarterback in total. That number should decrease. That number should come down significantly. And after seeing the ups and downs, the inconsistencies we saw in 2021, that should not be a thing in the fall, especially with the effort and the work that, Coach Wolford has been putting in with this offensive line and the work that these guys have been putting in with themselves and with their teammates, wanting to be better, wanting to be dominant, wanting to be successful, wanting to be a Jim Moore Award type of group. Now, am I saying this group has to win the Jim Moore Award? Of course not. It doesn't have to win it, but definitely be a finalist for it. And for U.S. fans, you want to see an improvement. You want to see a difference. You want to see a change in the number of times that Young was on the ground just a season ago. But just looking at how these guys have been putting the work in, and then seeing, in particular, Tyler Steen and J.C. Latham taking on those roles there as offensive tackles, something to really look forward to in the coming fall here. But as always, download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. Now, for your audio needs, check us out here, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, Google Play, or iHeartRadio. Got you covered right there. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll be back, trying to be back on Wednesday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link found in the description. If you're trying to get the fresh edition, print edition of TDA the magazine, you go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join. Become a member or a subscriber today. That link found in the description. If you're also trying to get the 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. That's WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. That link in the description as well. Appreciate the man Brian Branch, Alabama Junior defensive back, coming on the show earlier today to give us his thoughts there on his partnership with the Players Lounge with one former Georgia quarterback, Aaron Murray, and just his expectations here for the upcoming season for the Crimson Tide defensively. Want to shout out you, the Alabama football fan base, for your chats, your love, your support, for all that you do to to make this show the hottest show in the streets right here. And I got to shout out my man John Ivory doing his thing behind the scenes there in the production studio. But until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored and stay cool out there, people. As always, get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Until Wednesday, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.